Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Gold with your daily analysis for Wednesday, 18th of March, recording the video a bit later than usual today, 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A new high above 1160 invalidated the hourly wave count. At that stage, I expected Minuet wave 1 was actually over a couple of days and about $6 short of the first target and earlier than expected. At that stage, I expected that the second wave correction for Minuet wave 2 upward had begun. It's continuing higher, and I'll be looking for the upper edge of that blue base channel to show us where it's very likely to end. When price comes to touch that blue trend line, and it should happen within the next 24 hours, I will expect that Minuet wave 2 is over. The next movement for gold for the main wave count will be right in the middle of a third wave. It should be very swift and strong. Let's have a look at the wave count at the daily chart level. This is the point where the daily wave count diverges from the alternate wave count. At this stage, the main wave count expects that cycle A and primary 5 within it are incomplete, that primary 5 is unfolding as an impulse within it. It has the first and second waves done, and the third wave begins here. Within intermediate wave 3, we now have an impulse for minor 1, a double flat or combination for minor 2, and now within minor 3 we have the first wave complete down here and the second wave unfolding. This blue channel is extremely important. It's a base channel for the main wave count and a corrective channel for the alternate. It's drawn in exactly the same way. Draw the first trend line from the high here to the end of minor 2, place a parallel copy on the end of minor 1 on this red candle right here. Minuet wave 2 should not breach the base channel drawn around a first and second wave 1 or more degrees higher. So I will expect it to end when price touches this blue trend line and to not move above it. Minuet wave 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 above 1223.33. This is the price point which differentiates the two wave counts. A new high above this price point would invalidate the main wave count, and I'll invalidate it at the daily chart level as well. A new high above this invalidation point would see me discard this main wave count in favour of the alternate. At this stage, within minor 3, we have 1 and nearly 2 complete, so when it's done, the next movement will be a third wave of a third wave of a third wave. When this second wave correction is complete, the next movement for gold should be some very swift, strong downward movement. Downward momentum should substantially increase. A new low below 1131.09 would provide full and final confirmation for the main wave count. The alternate would be fully invalidated. The target for primary 5 remains the same at 956.97. It would reach equality in length with primary 1. It probably won't be equal in, well, it certainly can't be equal in duration to primary 1. It's already a lot longer. It may continue for another 19 weeks, give or take 3 either side of that expectation, to total a Fibonacci 55 weeks. On balance, volume has slightly breached this small trend line with some upward movement for this candlestick here. If this blue trend line on balance volume is breached with upward movement, then that would provide support for the idea for the alternate wave count. For this main wave count, if on balance volume got that high, it should find strong resistance at this light blue trend line here. We have an increase in volume for the Wednesday's candlestick, and that supports the idea that this is a more sizable correction. It's still lower than the downward days volume, which are the highest volume recorded since the trend change back up here. Let's have a look at the end of Minuet wave 1 at the hourly chart level and have a look at how Minuet wave 4 actually ended, where the third wave here is this low down here. I had discarded this idea of the triangle from Minuet wave 4 because the trend lines didn't very clearly converge, but that's how it subdivides, and this is the wave count that makes sense. If we see Minuet wave 4 as a regular contracting triangle over here, the subdivisions fit, all Elliott wave rules are met, and we have Fibonacci ratios between Minuet waves 1, 3 and 5 within this impulse down for Minuet wave 1. So Minuet wave 1 is a complete 5-wave impulse down here, and the breach of the green trend channel, as well as a new high above this point here, invalidated the idea that we were going to see more downward movement. At that stage, I had to label Minute Wave 1 over and Minute Wave 2 underway on this hourly candle right here. At this stage, Minute Wave 2 looks like it may be unfolding as a very quick, sharp zigzag. This is a second wave within a third wave 1 and 2 degrees higher, so it is entirely possible that it could be much more brief and shallow than expected. The strong downward pull of minor wave 3 within intermediate wave 3 is quite likely to force this second wave correction to be quite quick and relatively shallow. I don't think it will reach up to the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, because that would see it strongly break above the upper edge of the blue trend line. This is the upper edge of that base channel. I'm copying it over to the hourly chart. When price comes to touch this blue trend line, then I will expect that the second wave correction is extremely likely to be over, and for the main wave count, I would expect a strong bounce down from resistance at that trend line to initiate a third wave of a third wave of a third wave. Within Minute Wave 2, I don't think Minuet waves A and C will reach a Fibonacci ratio to each other, because Minuet C has passed equality with A and passed 1.618, the length of A. Were it to reach the next Fibonacci ratio in the sequence, 2.618, that would see a target comfortably above this blue trend line, so they may not have a ratio to each other. A better way to calculate a price target may be at sub-minuet degree, but I can't do that yet because 3 and 4 aren't complete. Within my Minuet wave C, we have 1, 2, and the third wave is incomplete. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 most likely here. We need 5, so we need sub-minuet 3 to end, and then another fourth wave correction, and a final fifth wave up. So overall, I expect probably upward movement over the next 24 hours to come up to touch this blue trend line. In the short term, sub-minuet wave 4 may not move into wave 1 price territory below 1152.98. I'm going to use this upward sloping green channel around this correction for Minute 2 as final trend channel confirmation that 2 is over and 3 is underway. Draw it from the start of A to the end of B, place a copy on the end of A. Along the way up, now upward movement has breached the upper edge of the channel. This green trend line should provide support while Minute 2 unfolds upward, and when the lower green trend line is clearly breached with downward movement, that will provide trend channel confirmation eventually that Minute 2 is over, and Minute 3 down would then be confirmed as underway. At the daily chart level, this is the alternate. This is the point in time where the alternate and main wave counts now diverge. This alternate wave count has a 5, 3, 5 zigzag complete down here. The subdivisions are exactly the same as the main wave count. So this wave count now expects a deep second wave correction as a complete zigzag, and a third wave up has begun. Intermediate 3 must move beyond the end of 1. If we see a new high above 1223.33, this will be my only wave count. But before we get to that price point, if we see a clear breach of this trend channel, which here is drawn in the same way, but is correctly termed a corrective channel, if we see a full daily candlestick above this blue trend line and not touching it, I will swap the wave counts over. This alternate would be strongly preferred. The main wave count would substantially decrease in probability. To the downside, if intermediate 2 were to continue further, it can't move beyond the start of 1 below 1131.09. If the main wave count's correct, we should have this alternate invalidated within the next week. That's all from me today with your gold analysis, and I hope that all our members are having a fabulous day.